Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Leatherman OHT. So the Leatherman OHT, which stands for One Hand Tool, as the name implies, is a one-hand operable tool. Basically, everything on this tool is one-hand opening and closing, including the spring action pliers. This tool came out before the Leatherman Free, which is the more modernized version of a one-hand opening Leatherman tool, and in my opinion, the mechanism is superior to the OHT. But it is cool to look back on the original one-hand opening tool, and the OHT still has a place in the Leatherman lineup since it is more on the heavy-duty side and it has more tools geared towards the tactical side of things. Before we dive deeper into the OHT's toolset, let's do the standard size comparison. Here it is up against the Leatherman Free P2, that's my go-to EDC Leatherman tool. Here it is up against the PST, that's the original Leatherman tool. Here it is up against the Charged Titanium. It's a pretty standard sized, full-size Leatherman tool. Here it is up against the Leatherman Skeletal. Here it is up against the Leatherman Signal. And here it is against the Style PS, a keychain multi-tool. As you can see, the OHT is significantly bigger than all of the tools on the table in terms of dimensions and width. As I said at the beginning, this is geared towards more of the heavy-duty side of things as well as the tactical and first responder field. And next, let's do a little comparison of the pliers. And now let's do a size comparison of the pliers. The OHT's pliers opens up a little differently compared to the other Leatherman tools, which I'll go into later. Here it is up against the Free P2. Here it is up against the PST. And here it is up against the Charged Titanium. As you can see, especially in opened up pliers, it is a lot bigger and it is spring-loaded in contrast to the other three. And lastly, let's do a size comparison up against a ruler. In terms of length, it is barely over 4.5 inches. It's a pretty big tool. In terms of width, it comes in a little under 1 3/4 inch. And in terms of thickness, it comes in a little under an inch as well. It's a pretty thick and big tool for sure. As I said, it's on the heavy duty side. And lastly, it comes with a Molly Leatherman sheath. It's a lot different than the standard nylon sheaths Leatherman tools come in. Made in China. As I said, it's Molly compatible. It also has a Velcro closure instead of the traditional snap button closure. The Molly sheath fits one Leatherman tool, and on the other side you have its Molly webbing compatibility with a snap button closure, so if you want to attach it to a Molly system. And now let's dive deep into the Leatherman OHT's toolset. So what's great about the OHT is that all the tools are one-hand operable, as well as all of them are operable on the outside. And the first tool we should take a look at is the spring-loaded pliers. To access the pliers, or to unlock them, there's this little knob on the right hand side. To unlock the pliers, you got to turn the knob to the right so that is flush up against the button. And then to deploy the pliers, on both sides, these buttons, you got to press down on both sides with both fingers. And then you hold it in place and let gravity do the work. And boom, the pliers deploy like that. It's a very cool way to deploy the pliers. And notice how I didn't have to open them up like a traditional Leatherman tool. This isn't really a traditional tool, but I still needed to open up the pliers. Here's the charge. Yeah, I needed to really open it up, whereas the OHT, you basically just slide it with gravity, and it works the same way to close it. Again, press down on both buttons, hold it like this, and let gravity do the work. Very cool. And then another way to open it, I'm not too sure if this is really an official way, but as long as you leave it unlocked, you can actually flick the pliers open if you get it right. If you hold it like that, boom, I just flicked it open. Really cool. You cannot do the same thing closed. You can't just slam it closed. You have to do the gravity way closed. Again, a very cool way to open and close the pliers with gravity. It's like you have gravity knives and then you have gravity pliers, which is really cool. Or maybe not so cool, because you know there's some politician out there that's going to restrict gravity pliers like they do gravity knives. And then of course, if you want to to lock the tool, you got to turn it counterclockwise to lock, and then you cannot open up the spring action pliers. So as I said, the pliers are spring action, so you won't have to use that much movement when using the pliers. If you want to open them up, you just let the pliers open it up for you. The only motion you have to do is squeeze, which is awesome. The pliers are pretty big. Like every other Leatherman multi-tool, it comes with regular and needle nose pliers, as well as hard and regular wire cutters. The OHTs are replaceable, so if they ever get dull, you can buy the replacements from Leatherman. And now for the rest of the tools, all of which are one-hand operable and are on the outside. Let's start off with the knife blade. Again, one-hand opening with that little thumb hole, liner locking, 420HC black coated. In terms of sharpened blade length, it comes in a little over 2 inches. It's like a little less than 2¼ inches. It is razor sharp, as is all Leatherman knife blades. You can get a good grip with it. It looks kind of disproportionate to the tool. The tool is huge, but the knife blade isn't that big in comparison to the tool. And here it is, one hand closing. And then on the other side, you have the saw. It's razor sharp. It's great for cutting plastic, wood, and some lighter metals. And then on the same side, you have the combination can and bottle opener. If you need to use it as a can opener, you do this on the can. If you need it to be a bottle opener, just prop it up against the cap and then yank off the cap. It's also liner locking. All the tools are liner locking, which is great. Then on the other side, you have a flathead screwdriver. I think this is the large size flathead driver. You can also use this as a prying tool. And what's also cool about the OHT is the details on the scales of the tools. They kind of have illustrations on what the tools are, so you won't have to really guess. So right here, this little saw looking thing obviously indicates that the saw's right here. You have a regular plain edge blade looking thing for the knife blade. Then right here you have a little drawing of the combo tool and another small drawing for the small driver. And then on the other side, you get a picture of kind of like a cutting hook and a screwdriver, and that's because that's exactly what it is over here. You have your safety cutter / gut hook, as well as a medium-sized bit driver, as well as an oxygen tank wrench. So this tool is pretty good for first responders. The other side, you get the fully serrated blade, also made out of black-coated 420HC steel. You also get that little illustration of the serrations. You have the small flathead driver / you can use this for some smaller Phillips screws. And then on the other side, you have your dedicated Phillips driver. It's a 2.5D Phillips screwdriver. And the very last tool on the OHT is this little firearm cleaning brush rod adapter. Any compatible firearm cleaning brush can fit inside the Leatherman OHT if it screws in, and then you can basically use the OHT to get a good grip on your firearm cleaning brush and clean your firearm. So I really like the design of the OHT. I think the gravity nature of deploying and closing the pliers is really cool. I think it's a really cool design, and I love how it has spring action pliers. Unfortunately, most Leatherman tools do not have spring action pliers. I think it's only the OHT and then the Wingman family of Leatherman tools have spring action pliers. I don't know if it's like impossible to fit it into the regular tools, but I'd personally like to see that feature in more Leatherman tools. The tool set on the OHT is pretty solid. I feel like they could have maybe replaced the very small bit driver for a pair of scissors instead. As I always say, scissors are probably the most useful tool that I use on my multi-tool, and multi-tools that don't have scissors I don't really carry. But other than that, the tool set is pretty solid, and again, it's not necessarily an everyday carry multi-tool, especially given the size and the tool set. Of course, you have the rescue tools and the oxygen tank wrench, as well as the firearm cleaning brush rod adapter, so it's definitely geared to the more tactical and first responder side of things. It also lacks a pocket clip, so they pretty much intend for you to carry it in included sheath or throw it into your pack. Despite the size and technology utilized for the pliers, it actually isn't the most expensive tool on the market. It still retails for under $100, which I think is great. And while it's not necessarily geared towards the everyday person or for everyday carry, I still think it's a really cool tool to check out. And it's really cool to see how Leatherman's first ever variation of a one-hand operable tool is still relevant in the market today. So what do you guys think of the OHT? Do you guys like its one-hand opening mechanisms, or do you prefer the free? I personally still prefer the free over the OHT, but I gotta say the gravity pliers and the spring action in the pliers is still pretty cool, and I definitely think the OHT has a place in the Leatherman lineup. So that's gonna do it for this video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, follow me on my socials, and thanks for watching.